Over the last 2 years, massive corporate investment has been driven by a singular, aggressively marketed promise: the absolute certainty from Silicon Valley that autonomous AI agents will soon replace the human workforce and drive corporate revenue to record highs. But behind closed doors, a massive backtrack has begun. The world's biggest tech CEOs and enterprise boards are quietly canceling their multi-billion-dollar deployments and burying the press releases. They've hit what financial analysts are calling the revenue wall. The high-end servers and infrastructure required to run these generative models demand immense electrical and maintenance costs, while the actual returns on those investments have completely flattened out. This chart perfectly illustrates the problem. We are looking at a direct comparison between total capital invested in enterprise AI against the measurable return. You can see the capital expenditure climbing exponentially, but according to a recent MIT report, a staggering 95% of enterprise AI projects are delivering zero measurable return on investment. The line flatlines at zero. Even the tech giants themselves can't outrun the math. Uber recently revealed that 95% of its engineers use AI coding tools on a monthly basis, yet those same engineers burned through their entire 2026 AI coding budget in just 4 months. And the company admitted there was no clear connection between using those expensive tools and actually shipping better features to customers. Without spending caps, the situation becomes dangerous. One unnamed enterprise client recently gave thousands of employees unlimited access to AI tools and subsequently ran up a $500 million bill in a single month. The sheer scale of these losses is forcing immediate action. Microsoft recently abandoned data center projects totaling over 2 gigawatts of capacity. They let letters of intent expire and walked away from at least 5 separate land parcels that were already under construction. This inability to link immense compute usage to actual revenue generation is causing panic in private review cycles. To avoid catastrophic financial exposure, corporate boards are now silently freezing their upcoming budgets. But the crisis extends far beyond infrastructure costs. For the companies that actually rush to deploy these systems and automate away their staff, the damage to their core operations has been severe. Look at the payment platform Klarna. In early 2024, they slashed their workforce from over 7,000 employees down to around 3,000, publicly claiming an AI chatbot was doing the equivalent work of 700 full-time customer service agents. In the months that followed, their customer service quality plummeted. 15 months later, Klarna's CEO, Sebastian Siemiatkowski, had to admit the entire AI-first push was a mistake. He stated they had been too focused on cutting costs and immediately launched a desperate rehiring drive to bring humans back into the loop. Salesforce followed the exact same trajectory. After spending 2 years publicly explaining why customer support jobs no longer needed to exist and shrinking their support staff from roughly 9,000 down to 5,000, CEO Mark Benioff completely reversed his tone and quietly announced the hiring of 1,000 new graduates. Even physical logistics break down under blind automation. Starbucks rolled out an AI-powered image recognition system across 11,000 stores to scan shelves and count inventory. It was marketed as having 99% accuracy. In reality, it skipped items entirely and couldn't reliably distinguish between similar types of milk. Just 9 months after the massive launch, Starbucks sent an internal newsletter across 11,000 locations, telling employees to abandon the automated system and go back to counting every carton and bottle by hand. Executives are learning a very expensive lesson. Automating away human employees without fully understanding the mechanics of a workflow actively destroys the bottom line. The operational failures are now triggering severe legal consequences. Corporate legal teams are stepping in to deal with data accuracy fraud, situations where hidden system errors cause AI platforms to generate believable but completely fictional data within critical business contracts and operations. Air Canada recently lost a tribunal case after their customer service chatbot hallucinated a bereavement fare policy that simply didn't exist. The airline tried to argue the chatbot was a separate legal entity responsible for its own actions, an argument the tribunal completely rejected. The stakes get much higher in franchise operations. A Pizza Hut franchisee operating 111 locations recently filed a $100 million lawsuit against their parent company over a mandated AI dispatch system. This chart lays out the exact operational destruction cited in the lawsuit. You're looking at dual axis graph, where delivery times are tracked against same-store sales. After the AI was installed, the percentage of deliveries taking 45 minutes or longer spiked dramatically. As a direct result, same-store sales in New York City plunged into negative 10% year over year. According to the complaint, the AI system actively slowed production by stripping human managers of operational control. By introducing rigid algorithmic behaviors into a fluid environment, it did the exact opposite of improving efficiency. The unmanageable risk of these hidden system errors is forcing corporate legal teams to intervene. They are halting widespread AI deployments, recognizing that the black box nature of the technology is a direct threat to corporate survival. The ultimate proof that the current automation push is failing is coming from the people who built it. The primary architects of these systems are now actively walking back the core promises they made just 2 years ago. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman spent years stating that AI would quickly replace nearly half of all work tasks. Recently, at a conference in Sydney, he reversed his stance entirely, admitting he was completely wrong about displacing massive amounts of white-collar work. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei did the exact same thing. After previously claiming AI could eliminate half of all entry-level white-collar jobs within 5 years, he is now quietly reframing the technology as a tool that expands the work people do, rather than replacing them. The financial sector is running the same math. Goldman Sachs analysts warned that the $19 trillion added to AI-exposed companies since 2022 mirrors the peak of the dot-com bubble, where investors lost trillions betting on technology that never figured out how to generate a profit. Ray Dalio, founder of the world's largest hedge fund, issued a stark warning that we are clearly in the early stages of a massive impending crash. The pressure to maintain the facade is even leading to outright fraud. A startup called Builder.ai, once valued at over $1 billion, claimed their software was coded automatically by machine networks. In reality, human engineers were secretly doing the work behind the scenes, leading to $180 million in accounting fraud and the total collapse of the company. The public messaging from Silicon Valley still promises an automated future, but the private correction is fully underway. Facing a wall of costs, plummeting operational metrics, and massive legal liability, tech executives are quietly pulling the plug. They are stripping control away from machine networks, placing human supervisors back in charge, and shifting capital back into secure legacy software before the multi-trillion-dollar facade completely collapses.